A closer look now at the Latino vote. Donald Trump's comments about building a wall on the southern border, even calling a U.S. District Judge Gonzalo Curiel a hater for his Mexican heritage, had some Democrats hoping that Latinos would abandon him and mobilize for Clinton. Among Hispanic voters, 65% supported Clinton, a drop from the 71% who turned out for Obama back in 2012. Latinos for Trump, well, the numbers run anywhere between 19 and 29%. 4 years ago, 27% voted for Mitt Romney. Brent Wilkes is the National Executive Director of League of United Latin American Citizens, or LULAC. Nice to have you with us.
It's great to be with you, Soledad.
Thank you. So, good news story in terms of turnout, bad news story for Latinos who were hoping to elect a Democrat president. In terms of how it all ended up. Walk me through what you found in turnout for Latino voters.
Well, we saw Latinos were turning out in record numbers in the battleground states, and in fact, turning out in the early voting in numbers that we'd never seen before.
What was the increase that you saw?
Well, in some states, Florida, 69% uptick in early voting. That's just unheard of. In Georgia, of all places, we saw over 120% Latino early voting uptick. So it's really an amazing turnout in the early voting. And overall, Latinos voted 17% in larger numbers, if not more. We're not sure about the final figures yet, than they did just 4 years ago. So clearly the growth here in the Latino vote is huge, and that's a big success story.
I was sort of surprised, and if you look at the percentage of Latinos from the Latino Decision poll, let's say it's 18%, or even if you consider the CNN exit poll, which has it at 29%. I'm sort of stunned with the really anti-immigrant, anti-Latino rhetoric from Donald Trump, that number would be that high, whichever poll you're looking at.
If it was just about immigration, this whole campaign, then certainly I think you're right. It's kind of stunning. But at the same time, there's other issues that candidates are looking at, or that the voters are looking at. And in fact, in some way, Trump must have spoke to that part of that voter's mind. And an example is the economy. I think a lot of folks are hurting in this economy. Clearly, we're doing better, but the income inequality is growing, and the distribution of wealth in the country continues to accelerate towards the most wealthy Americans, and the folks that are at the lower and middle income levels are kind of stuck where they are.
What would you say is your best assessment of what comes out of this race, and potentially your worst assessment of what comes out of this Republican victory?
If you actually look at it, Donald Trump's not quite as conservative as some Republican candidates we've had in the past. Immigration, yes, of course, very conservative. But, on economic policies, he claims that he's going to, be for the lower and middle income Americans, try to bring back jobs, address this concern about a lot of companies who are moving jobs overseas, or basically creating a lot of wealth for the top 1% at the expense of everybody else. So if he's able to figure out how to do that, that certainly would be a progress. And then I think something that's also really important that people haven't thought about, which is the fact that he also ran on this idea of corruption, that the elites are in bed with big business. He said he was one of them, honestly, a big businessman who is bribing these elites with money to do what he wants. And he's going to change that. So if he really does follow through and says, I'm going to try to figure out a way to stop the elites basically purchasing access in Washington, that could end up being a big win for all Americans. And perhaps that's why he did appeal to some Latinos, because they saw this kind of insider game being played out in this city and felt like they weren't part of it, and they wanted it to change. And I think that's a real problem.
Brent Wilkes is the National Executive Director of LULAC. It's nice to have you.
It's great to be on. Thank you so much, Alda.